We have our guest, Caelin, on the Musicians Mobile Show. She's a former Musicians Mobile student. She was a recipient of the Audrey Pott Foundation Scholarship during her time with us. She's a talented artist, singer, songwriter. She plays the guitar and the rain stick on her web show, Creating in Quarantine. She has moved from San Jose and now is in Austin, Texas. What was it about Austin that inspired you to move there?
There was like a multitude of reasons why I chose Austin. The first reason, it being like the live music capital of the world, which is now up in the air because no live music.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a huge music city. And I came here for college, so I got offered a really great scholarship at this wonderful liberal arts university, and so that was just another reason that kind of pushed me there. And I think like the biggest reason was I was connected with this gentleman in Austin who ran a very small label, and he was really interested in signing me when he had first heard my EP that I put out my senior year of high school. And when he found out that I was 17, he was like, okay, we're not gonna do anything with you because you're young and you need to figure out yourself and you need to grow and mature. And but he was always like, I have you have family here, you have friends here, like, like we'll be here for you, like whenever you're like ready to like pursue that. And he actually ended up passing away my sophomore year of college. So it was a weird thing because I came to Austin specifically that was like the biggest reason, because I was like, there's an opportunity here for me. I have to like really take it. But I took his advice, and I took my first like freshman year of college to like figure out what I was doing with like myself and my schoolwork, obviously, and figuring out the whole college life was a whole other thing to balance. But yeah, I mean, it was so many different things led me to Austin. Long story short, great place to live, and very, very like comfortable living here. So yeah.
How's the artistic community out there embraced you?
Everyone here is phenomenal. I haven't met one person that is like unkind or like conniving or anything. Like everyone here is really supportive, and if you reach out to people to collaborate or to I formed a band eventually. I've been in multiple projects, but it's really just easy. People are just supportive, and that's my favorite thing about Austin, is that it's really just like a comforting, kind space.
Lots of collaboration going on.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Where does your music journey begin? How did you get started?
I think I would say I got started possibly in musical theater. When I was really young, I did like my parish theater, and I love singing, and I just love being in front of people and performing for people. And I've always just like really been comfortable with performing and dancing and being silly. And that's like a huge part of music is, being comfortable with yourself enough to like put yourself out there. So I would say definitely started when I was pretty young, maybe like when I was like 5 or 6. And then I started getting more into like playing in bands. I was in my first band when I was in 6th grade. And then I had another band in high school. And then I kind of pursued my solo career right about my senior year of high school. And then I've just been doing that ever since. So that's kind of like a synopsis of the journey.
What was your first instrument?
First instrument was piano. I look back at this now and I'm like, God, why did I not listen to them? But they're like, you're going to play piano. And I was like, okay. So they put me in piano lessons when I was really young, and I have ADHD, so I'm really bad at like staying on track with stuff. Gotcha. Most of us do, artists. So it was so hard for me to like stay focused with practicing, and like holding myself accountable really was like my biggest issue, which is like hard for like any 8-year-old to do. But piano, and then I ended up just kind of like learning piano on my own after like when I think I was like a teenager. And then I started I started with guitar, and that's actually what I was doing with Musicians Mobile is
Right.
I was taking guitar lessons. So yeah, piano and guitar. Yeah.
What did you want to play originally when you were not wanting to play the piano?
I don't know. I think I was just more focused. I guess I didn't really see the benefit of like learning an instrument because I was just like, I have my voice, like I can sing.
Oh, okay, so
Um,
you sing mainly back then.
yeah, it was always singing. That's like my main instrument, is singing. And I eventually learned that singing is great, but also if you're able to accompany yourself with some type of an instrument,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like way cooler. And my whole thing with guitar was like, I just wanna like learn how to play guitar to look cool.
Right.
Which is like, I feel like most people want to learn guitar to look cool because it's freaking awesome. But yeah, that's
It's a
kind of like
timeless,
my journey.
yeah, a timeless, cool instrument. The
It
guitar.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You have a real like old soul in the sense that you really love classic music and classic rock. Where does
Totally.
that come from?
I think it was just kind of thrown at me at a young age. My mom grew up listening to like Boston, and
Mhm.
she really, the Beatles were huge in my family. And
Yes.
Fleetwood Mac was the first concert I ever saw live. Like it
Oh wow,
was
that's a
so, yeah, I
first
know.
concert.
I'm so lucky to have those words come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I think just because my mom, she's a huge music lover, and she, you know, she has a huge collection of records. So I just grew up listening to whatever she listened to, and I just have always liked how like more classic rock and like Americana, country, even those kind of songs like really tell a story, and I just like songs that tell stories.
That's
So
awesome. So
yeah.
like a lot of country music has that storytelling aspect to it. How did you evolve
Yeah.
into the artist you are today? How does one become an artist? Where you have an original sound and voice.
Yeah. I don't know. I still don't think I'm figuring it out. I mean, I'm figuring it out, but I haven't yet figured it out. I think it's a
Right.
constant evolution.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people will just start with what they're comfortable with. So I was super
Mhm.
comfortable with like the classic Americana, like classic rock, country sound. And I had been told by a lot of people, like, you should totally do country. Like you have a voice for it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do country. So I started, listening to a lot of country music, and then I guess my songs kind of developed, like the songs that I was writing developed into having more of a country sound, just because I was like, well, like maybe I'll just try this, which is great, and I really enjoyed that. So I had that like kind of just singer songwriter country Americana vibe going. And then it developed in the last few years. It's developed into more like, I guess the thing that I just am authentically, which is just very like free form, like just like I'm kind of going in like an ambient,
Mhm.
like synthy, more like, I don't know, ambient guitar sounding, drum
Right.
kit, acoustic drum sound. So I'm still trying to figure it out. But I mean, I think as I've gotten older, I've just started to branch out with what I listen to. And I think that's like a huge part of developing as an artist is listening to as much music as you can, and kind
Mhm.
of taking it all in and figuring out like, oh, I really like that synth in that one song, or I really like how that artist incorporated this drum machine with an acoustic drum set, and all kinds of different musics. Really, all the types of genres of music, I guess, have really kind of like helped me figure out what I want to like share with the world.
That's fantastic. Was there ever a time when there's like a real breakthrough you feel in your playing? Like something
In my
you learned or
yeah, I think, hmm, I think, for me personally, when I moved to Austin and I had this like opportunity to do music, and it was kind of like I was told like, whenever you're ready, like you have this label, and like we want to support you, and And I kind of like, I was like, oh, I have that. Like, I kind of took it for granted. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. I should have like, but at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. And I was learning and I was growing and maturing and evolving and all the things that you do when you're, a human being. So, yeah, I think like the biggest breaking point was when my friend passed, and it was like, okay, Caelin, like, is this something that you want to do? Because if it is, then do it. Like, figure out a way to make it work for you. And whether that's like getting better at guitar or learning to write better songs or like getting really good with social media, like all of the things that it takes to be a successful artist. That was kind of like a breakthrough for me. It was like, okay, if this is something I want to do and I want to do it well, I need to just do it rather than say like, oh, like whenever, like I'll do it, like I don't want to like write right now. Like, like it's really just like about being disciplined. So I think that was like the biggest breakthrough, honestly.
Is gaining that discipline to do things when you didn't want to do them.
Yeah, I think I always just struggled with holding myself accountable. I'm really good at like making excuses. Like, I don't really feel like playing guitar right now, or like learning these like really difficult bar chords because it's hard.
Right.
And I'd rather just like, maybe just do something. I'm like, I'll just play the piano or like I'll sing or whatever. And I think just like being able to set goals for myself. Like I picked up the guitar after not playing it for a few years, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I like set a goal of, like I'm going to be able to start playing like solo shows. Like I'm going to be able to learn all my songs on guitar and play all those songs, like solo shows. Cause I always relied on a guitarist to like come and play with me. And I set that goal for myself. And now all the shows that I have solo, like I just show up with my guitar and it's great. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think just like setting goals is really important, and just holding yourself accountable with those goals that you set is super crucial to being successful in whatever way you want to define success. Yeah.
What's been the most challenging part of your journey? Because a music career, that's tough. And I don't think a lot of people who are on the outside of it realize the struggles and the challenges that you face as an artist,
Yeah. I would just say like, I guess accepting that you're going to have to wear a lot of hats as an independent artist, because you can write like the most amazing, beautiful songs and like put them out into the world. But if you're not able to like market them or connect with people and meet people and constantly, I think it's just like a constant grind. Like always learning. Like I'm actually reading, this is the third time I've read this book, but for example, I'm reading this book. It's called How to Make It in the New Music Industry. Art Herstand is a great, he's super knowledgeable in all the music industry stuff, but I think constantly learning and like just not ever stopping learning. Like I'm trying to learn Logic right now, how to like record my own stuff. And it's hard. It's so hard. And I have so much respect for producers, but my goal ultimately is to hopefully be able to do all the things on my own, or at least enough to have control of my work when I work with other people.
You cut your demos at home and kind of show, hey, this is where I'm going with this idea, like producer and
I think the whole part about being an independent artist is realizing that like you can't just be like a singer songwriter or like a guitar player or whatever. Like if you're an instrumentalist and you're like a musician and that's what you want to do and you want to play, like you want to tour or you want to play in bands and stuff, like it's not just being really good at your instrument. It's also like how many like, figuring out what kind of music do I want to play, and then networking, and then like there's so much more to just being a musician and an artist. So yeah, it's really just, I think like a huge part of it is just accepting that you have to just wear all the hats that you want to, at least to kind of like help push you along and like help you like rise above the normal, I guess, people who don't do it as much.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to wear all those hats, like a marketing hat, then you probably have to book your own shows and then your own social media, and then there's music laws is very convoluted and challenging.
Definitely.
Laws are constantly changing. So when did you first start writing songs?
Oh boy. Well, I guess what do you define a song?
I mean, even the bad ones, they count. Like just the first attempt at taking a crack at it, where it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think honestly, I've been writing songs since I was like maybe 8, but horrible, just bad, ridiculous songs.
Let's talk about what's the worst song you ever wrote?
Oh my gosh, I think I wrote a song. I would have to like rack my memory like for this, but I remember writing a song when I was like maybe like 9 or 10 for my friend's like neighbor's baby shower or something, and like I put on this whole like production, and it was so silly. I mean, I don't even remember what the song was called, but it was very simple, like just a very basic song, but it was great and everyone loved it, because you know, you're putting yourself out there. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved to write. Like I used to write like short stories when I was little, and just all different kinds. I've just always been like a creative human, I guess. I just like putting my ideas like on paper, and like more than that, also just like my feelings and stuff. Like I've always like had a diary or journal, and so I think like writing, like when I got more serious about writing songs, it was like more towards like when I was in high school. Just got better and better and better, and now I used to not consider myself a songwriter because I was like, these aren't like actually good. But now I'm finally like learning to accept that I am a songwriter, and learning to love the process. And you know, you're always gonna like your first like 50, 100 songs aren't gonna be the best, you know, songs that you're gonna write. And you just got to keep writing and writing and writing and writing, and hopefully they just get better.
Like a creative muscle that you have to constantly work out.
Definitely. Yeah. It's a huge part of it.
What about the time you performed in Nashville? Didn't you what's that classic club out there? Can you tell us that stuff?
Yeah, the Bluebird Cafe. Yeah, it was really cool. I had known about it because obviously it's like world renowned, and I also was a huge fan of the show Nashville on like ABC or something. My mom and I used to watch it all the time.
My mom watches it too.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's great. But yeah, so they have a great club out there called the Bluebird Cafe, and I was looking at colleges there. I think I was like 17 or something, and my mom and I were like, we're gonna try to see what the deal is with the open mic. And we stood in a line in like 98, 100 degree humid Nashville weather, and we finally got in. And I couldn't play a guitar at this point, so I didn't feel like comfortable enough to play a guitar, so I just like asked a random person in line, and I was like, hey, can you play this song? And I like had the chords and stuff, and he was like, yeah. And the first time we played it was on stage, which was I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I'm gonna like, who knows what's gonna happen? And it was great. And the crowd loved it. And yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite performances to date. But yeah, great memory. And it just shows how awesome musicians are to just be like, yeah, I'll play a song for you. Like, sure.
Speaking of those Nashville songwriters, they're just the top notch. What song do you wish you wrote, and why? That you heard someone else
oh my gosh
wrote it, and you're like, I wish I wrote that.
Man, the first one that comes to mind is Willie Nelson's "Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain." I don't know if you know that one. I
probably have heard it.
I don't know. It's just a beautiful song, and every time I hear it, I cry. It's so beautifully written, and most of Willie Nelson's songs I wish I wrote, honestly.
Willie Nelson, yeah, he's from Austin, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's an icon. He's a I mean, he's an icon everywhere. He should be, at least. But in Austin specifically, there's like Willie Nelson murals everywhere, and like Willie Nelson Street and
Oh my gosh.
all that stuff. Yeah.
What is music giving you?
I think that music has given me an opportunity to share just my own personal experiences in life. And also in turn, like, hopefully that helps other people. I think it's kind of like this just like opportunity to communicate with the world, because that's kind of the way I've always viewed it for myself, is like, if I hear a song that really resonates with me, I'm automatically just like in a better place in my head. And I just hope that like I can do that. That's like the only reason I really do music, is just to like hopefully make someone's day better, or like make them smile. So I think like that's like really what music has given me, and that's kind of like the whole point of doing music, in my opinion. But yeah, just an opportunity to share my voice, I guess.
Yeah, with your song Serenity, your recent single, when I put that on, it took me to a different world. You know, music has, it's like you're creating your own little movie.
Yeah, for sure.
You get to go to a different place, even though you might be in your house or in your car. You suddenly drift off to this world of the artist that you're listening to, and get a glimpse into how they see things in their lens. And
I think that's like the coolest. I think the coolest part about listening to music is when you're like transported into a different place. And there's so many songs out there that have the power to do that. Honestly, like most music, in my opinion, has the power to do that. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm really happy that you said that.
When you hear music, do you almost picture like a music video, or see yourself as the center of a scene? What do you picture or feel when you hear music, or a song that really moves you?
Yeah, I think like songs that are really like storytelling, like that they just like kind of like paints a picture, when you listen to it. I think I definitely like will just visualize like what I guess what that song means to me. And in general with music, I think I just like associate like maybe like objects or colors or landscapes with different sounds. So yeah, so I think that's what I do like most of the time, because I just really get into like the sound that the music provides, and I kind of like will take that and I'll just like close my eyes and I'll just see like different colors or objects or whatever it is that like pops into my head, whatever that sound kind of associates with. But yeah, that's kind of weird, I guess. I never said that out loud, but yeah, it's just something that I do in my brain.
We all have our different processes.
For sure.
What's next for Caelin?
An album.
Do you have a concept in mind or a theme?
I think the theme is just growing up and what it's been like for me to come from like California and transitioned into like college in Austin, and then transition out of college into just like whatever people call real life. So it's just like, I think the series of songs are really just like, they're specific to me, but I know for a fact that they resonate with other people, because it's really just like basic life stuff about like growing up and kind of like figuring out who you are, and I guess what you want to do, and figuring that out by just being as authentic and true to yourself as you can. So that's kind of the whole theme. But yeah, I'm really excited to actually start working on like a project, because I have 2 songs out right now, and I have like a bunch of songs I just haven't released, and I'm just like really excited to like just like actually put more material out, because I've been working on it a lot and writing, and curating a sound and a vibe that's gonna be pretty like cohesive to that
hard.
That theme. It's so hard. Yeah, there's been nights where I've just like sat in my room and just cried because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no direction. I just wish someone would like tell me like what to do and tell me how to make my music sound good, because I just can't figure it out. And there's been a lot of self-doubt, but that's pretty common with being an artist. You're just gonna always doubt yourself. But yeah, I finally, it's part of the process. I finally figured out like the sound, and I have a band in Austin now. All of them are phenomenal, and everyone's like really committed to the project, and we're all kind of like working to figure out how we're going to make that a reality in terms of recording and budget and all that stuff. But that's the next goal. I'm hoping like in the next few months we'll get the recording done and then market it and then release it hopefully in the near future.
Right on. We got to keep us posted. Where can your new fans from Musicians Mobile, where can they find out more about you or learn more about you on the web?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. I haven't been posting a lot recently, just because of the current state of the world. There's just been more important things I feel like to be talking about rather than my own music. But I definitely do post there a good amount, and my Instagram handle is at Caelin, CAELIN _music. And then obviously you can check out my Spotify, and you can just find me with my name Caelin. And then Bandcamp is another place you can listen to some songs. But also, if you're interested in getting Patreon, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Patreon, but it's an opportunity to like pay like a monthly subscription, basically, to like get new songs. I try to write a song every month, and I put it out on Patreon. So it's like an opportunity here, like songs as they like develop and stuff. So yeah.
What's your Patreon account handle?
I think it's Caelin Music or Caelin _music. Yeah, I can send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me, and we'll throw it graphically on the screen somewhere.
Cool.
In post-production. So
yeah.
Right on,
guys.
Yeah. Right on, Caelin. Thanks for participating and sharing your story. Best of luck to you, and it looks like you got a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you. I appreciate
coming out to your songs, and they definitely create a vibe and a mood. Like I said, I want to cruise down Highway 1 when I listen to those songs and kind of chill out and drift away and go to another place of calm when I hear them. So congratulations on creating a sound, and it'll evolve over time as you evolve, like you said. So yeah,
definitely. I really appreciate that, Nate.
You got it. All right, peace, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.